boy runs through the woods and finds his way to Akko. He has the rather dubious honor of being rumored to be raised by demons of the forest and taught their dark powers. The evil he had fled from left a mark on him. He is found by Lord Asano of Akko, who saves him. Despite his spooky upbringing and a mixed breed, he saw great potential in the boy and decided to let him live amongst them against the wish of the samurais, who thought the boy might bring misfortune to their land. Though he lives as an outcast, Kai is determined to repay the love he receives from Lord Asano and Mika, the Lord's daughter. Kai becomes an expert tracker and joins Lord Asano and his men on a hunt for a beast. Kai advises Oishi, the Lord's right-hand man, that the beast is up on the rise, but it is better to stay down and trap their prey, sensing something is off. However, Oishi ignores his advice and leads the men forward. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a giant beast charges at them like it is Black Friday, and they are standing between it and the last flat-screen TV sale. It knocks Lord Asano to the ground and chaos ensues. A mystic white fox comes out and looks at the group. Oishi, now regretting his life choices, goes after the monster. Kai also gets on a horse and goes after the beast. With everyone in hot pursuit, the beast goes on a rampage, smashing everything like a toddler in a tantrum, while the scouts unleashes a flurry of arrows and try to surround the creature. The monster tosses the samurai around like rag dolls, sending them flying off their horses in every direction. After wreaking havoc, the creature decides it has had enough fun and tries to make a run for it into the forest. Yasuno chases it and tries to attack the beast with his sword, but ends up getting an impromptu flying lesson. The giant creature is now even more annoyed and turns its attention to Yasuno, who is sprawled on the ground. As it charges, Kai sees his chance and sprints toward the fallen sword, grabs the blade, and uses the creature's own momentum to stab it right in the heart, bringing the beast down with a dramatic crash. Kai pulls the sword out and offers it back to Yasuno, who is less than thrilled about being saved by a half-breed with no rank. Lord Asano arrives just in time to see the defeated creature and mistakenly gives Yasuno the credit, declaring him the new champion for the upcoming tournament. As they are leaving, Oishi notices Kai's hands covered with the creature's blood. After they leave, Kai spots the white fox, suspecting something is not right. And he is right. The fox transforms into a witch named Mizuki, who reports back to her Lord Kira that Asano is still alive. Meanwhile, Mika, upon hearing about the arrival of the team, rushes to the returning party. After confirming her father is fine, she asks about any other injured men, but Lord Asano knows that his daughter is asking about Kai. After Kai's return, she quickly makes her way to Kai's secluded house and finds him nursing his battle wounds. She helps him with the wound and tells Kai how much her father's samurais hate him, even if he helps them so much. But Kai, ever the noble half-breed, thanks her and urges her to return to her father, as a lady of her status couldn't be seen with a guy like him even if he loves her. That night, the shogun arrives in Akko for the upcoming festival. Kai, watching from a distance, spots Mizuki among the noble's concubines and recognizes her eyes as those of the fox he had seen earlier. Alarm bells ring and he rushes to Oishi's place to warn him about the witch. But unsurprisingly, Oishi brushes him off again. The next day, Lord Kira shows up and starts with the usual pleasantries, complimenting the province's beauty. However, things quickly go south when Kira disrespects him by commenting that Lord Asano's concubine is really beautiful, referring to Mika, who is by her father's side. Kira apologizes and requests her to be seated with him to watch the tournament to make up for his rudeness. They all settle in to watch the tournament. At the same time, Yasuno, who is getting ready for his fight, spots the witch in her fox form and predictably falls victim to her magic. Kira's fighter, a giant in size, goes up on the stage ready to face his opponent. But when Chikara, Oishi's son, comes to get Yasuno, he is already bewitched. Kai rushes over to find Yasuno incapable of the fight. To save Lord Asano from disgrace, Kai dons the samurai armor that covers his face, ready to pull a switcheroo and replace Yasuno in the tournament. The giant samurai attacks Kai with a flurry of slashes. They continue to clash and Kai manages to land several hits on his colossal opponent. But eventually, his katana breaks against the giant's armor. He gets knocked out of the ring, losing his helmet in the process and revealing his true identity. The shogun halts the fight and strides into the ring, only to discover that Kai is a half-breed and not a samurai. He immediately orders Kai's execution, but Mika rushes in to protect her lover, while Lord Asano begs the shogun and takes the blame. The shogun orders Oishi to strip Kai of his armor and beat him. Kai is beaten by the samurais for bringing shame, while Lord Asano storms into his room in anger. Realizing that Asano is mentally conflicted from the disgrace, Mizuki tells Kira it is time to take over Akko as they had planned. She recites a spell and conjures a spider using Kira's blood. She then sneaks into Lord Asano's room at night and poisons him with the creature's venom, causing him to hallucinate. He hears Mika's cry for help and imagines his daughter being defiled by Kira. Enraged, Lord Asano charges into Kira's room and attacks him with a sword, waking everyone as they try to stop him from killing Kira. As a result of attacking a guest in his own palace, The shogun sentences Lord Asano to death but allows him to keep his honor by committing seppuku, meaning taking one's own life. In his final hour, Lord Asano tells Oishi to take care of Mika and Ako from the enemies. All dressed in white, Lord Asano is on his way to perform seppuku. The shogun and the others watch the final moment of Lord Asano while Kai is in his shed all bruised from the beatings he had. The samurais want to avenge their lord's wrongful death, but Oishi says it's not the right time. After Asano's death, Mika's request to look after Ako is declined. The shogun announces that Mika will marry Kira to mend the conflicts between the two houses but gives her 1 year to mourn her father's death. The shogun also forbids Oishi and his men from taking vengeance against Kira, declaring them Ronin, samurais without masters, and leaving their fate in the hands of Lord Kira. He wastes no time banishing the samurai from Ako and takes Kai away while Mika watches in despair. He then orders Oishi to be thrown in the pit, trying to break his will for revenge. 1 year later, Oishi is dragged out of the underground prison and toss him onto the streets, where his wife and son quickly take him inside the house. He learns that all his men have left the province, and that Kai was sold as a slave. Oishi immediately asks Chikara to prepare 3 horses. He gives his son Lord Asano's dagger to be shown to his men, and he rides his way to the Dutch islands. He enters the fighting arena and sees Kai battling a monstrous opponent who is trying to kill him with every blow. However, Kai quickly gains the upper hand and decapitates the creature. Oishi enters the ring and tries to talk to Kai but immediately gets attacked. The katana fight continues while Oishi tells him that Mika will be forced to marry Kira if they do not intervene. Kai continues to attack Oishi until he turns his blade to one of the spectators, giving them time to escape the ring. The slave masters pursue them fiercely, but they eventually escape together after burning their path down. Oishi accepts his mistake of not believing Kai in the past and asks for his help. Meanwhile, Kira is informed about Kai's escape with the help of Oishi. He orders Mizuki to find them. They ride to a secret hideout where all his men have gathered. They welcome them, though Yasuno is not so pleased to see Kai. Oishi tells his comrades that the path they are going to take right now will mean ultimate death for all of them, as they go against the order of the shogun. He outlines a plan to assassinate Kira when he leaves the fortress to go to his ancestor's shrine to offer prayers for his upcoming marriage. He assigns 1 samurai to find out the exact date of Kira's departure from the temple town, while 3 others are assigned to gather more former samurais for the mission. He and the rest arrive at a nearby swordmaker's town only to find it all empty and heavily guarded by Kira's men. Disguised as farmers, they confront the soldiers, but when the cover is blown, they quickly eliminate them and take their weapons. At the temple town, the samurai Oishi sent earlier is trying to gather information about Kira's arrival day. Unfortunately, Mizuki is already there to trap him. At the farmhouse, Kai tells Oishi there's another way to get weapons, but it requires venturing into the demon-infested sea of trees known as the Tengu Forest. The Ronins head for the forest and Kai leads them to a giant Buddha statue. They leave their horses and walk through a dense bamboo forest where they hear eerie noises and see shadows of spirits and souls of unwanted people and children who were left there to die. Once they reach the giant Buddha's head, Kai asks only Oishi to come with him. Inside the cave, Kai warns Oishi not to draw his sword no matter what happens. They see monks kneeling before the Buddha statue, and Kai tells Oishi to wait while he enters a smaller cave where a katana is placed in the center. The head demon monk approaches Kai and questions why he's helping those who treat him so poorly. Kai replies that they are good men with a just cause and they need weapons. Meanwhile, Oishi sees his men have come inside despite his orders. Yasuno draws his sword upon seeing the demons and has a fierce battle with them. The samurai are having a rough day getting picked off one by one by the magical creatures. Oishi is tempted to draw his sword but remembers Kai's warning and manages to restrain himself until every single one of his men is defeated. Inside, Kai asks for weapons and the demon challenges Kai to take the sword before he does. Using magic, Kai manages to grab the katana, first winning the battle, and all the hallucination disappears. As a reward for passing the test, a bunch of shiny katanas appear, and they leave the forest with their new weapons. They return to the farmhouse hideout and Oishi is informed by his man that Kira is heading to the shrines that very night, prompting him to rally his men for a stealthy assassination mission. They approach the shrine area only to find it guarded by 2 men and seemingly their target Kira. But turns out to be Mizuki, who attacks them with fire, and more of Kira's men attack them with a rain of arrows. The ambush turns ugly as more samurais die, and to add to their woes, a giant golem appears, killing more. The group retreats to the farmhouse where another wounded samurai dies, leaving the rest grieving for their lost comrades. Oishi is full of regret and grief after the failed attempt. The next morning, Kai spots a group of wedding performers heading to Kira's castle. Seeing an opportunity, they stop the performers and ask for their help. The troop leader recognizes Oishi as Lord Asano's samurai and agrees to help. Yasuno apologizes to Kai for his past actions and accepts him as one of them. As they get ready for their mission, Oishi and other Ronin write their names down and seal them with their blood. Accepting Kai as one of the samurais, he also seals his name. with borrowed costumes and joining the wedding performers. Some of the samurais get past Kira's guards. They get ready for the performance, keeping watchful eyes on Kira and his men. The performance starts, and while Kira and the soldiers are distracted, they seize the moment to retrieve their weapons. The rest of the samurais scale the stone wall to reach the top. They stealthily take out the guards and continue to move in closer. Kai is standing behind Kira, and Oishi continues performing on stage, inching closer to Kira while distracting the soldiers. Oishi pulls out a hidden blade, but just as he charges for the kill, an arrow stops him, and panic ensues as the crowd realizes their presence. The Ronins attack the soldiers while Kira runs away, dragging Mika along with him. Yasuno almost catches up to Kira, but giant golem charges at them. One of them throws dynamite into a room full of explosives, blowing it up, including the giant. Kai and Oishi pursue Kira, cutting down soldiers in their path. Mika takes out a hidden knife and attacks Kira, managing to escape. Oishi and Kai spread out in search of Kira and Mika. Finally, they meet and have a brief romantic reunion, interrupted by a ghostly kimono transforming into Mizuki. She taunts Kai for a bit and transforms into a massive dragon, attacking Kai furiously. He defends himself, dodging the massive pillars hurled at him, and when the dragon unleashes a stream of flames, Kai splits the fire with his katana, nullifying the dragon's magic and proving that sometimes even dragons have bad days. Kai strikes her with the katana, causing the beast to retreat temporarily. Mika hides while Kai prepares for a showdown with the dragon, but the dragon throws him into the air, knocking out his katana. Turning its attention to Mika, the dragon roars furiously, but Kai, channeling his inner wizard, uses the Tengu magic to grab the sword and makes a heroic leap, stabbing the dragon right in the noggin, causing it to crash to the floor. As the dragon transforms back into Mizuki, she lets out a dramatic gasp and dies. Meanwhile, Oishi finds Kira and attacks him through the walls. They crash into the room, and Oishi, filled with rage and anger, has an intense fight with Kira. He pummels Kira before grabbing him behind and stabbing him with Lord Asano's blade and decapitating him. Oishi then presents Kira's head to his comrades, signaling their victory. Kira's soldiers surrender, and the Ronins have avenged Lord Asano's honor. Returning to Akko, their families and the villagers welcome them. The samurais pay their last respects at their lord's grave, offering the dagger that killed Kira. The shogun sentences all the Ronin to die as they disobeyed his command, but graciously allows them to regain their honor and dignity through seppuku, which Oishi pleads the shogun for. Kai and Mika say their last goodbye, promising to find each other in the next life. All 47 Ronins prepare for the ritual the following day, as Mika and their families watch in grief. Suddenly, the shogun calls out Chikara, the only son of Oishi, and grants him his life back, saying Oishi's bloodline will live to serve Akko. Mika watches the seppuku and tears stream down her face. Standing on the bridge, she gazes into the distance, clinging to Kai's promise to find her in their next life.